Welcome back to another episode of Women Who Rock the World, a podcast about women in different industry doing amazing things around the world and for women in general. Today with me, I have Martina Nixe Riva.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome, Martina. How are you?
Hi, Chiara. Very good. Thank you. I hope you're good too. And thank you
Yes,
very much for inviting me to the podcast.
you're
I
welcome.
really like the idea.
You're welcome. Martina is an amazing guitar player. She is the founder of Killing Baudelaire, and she's been on different projects as well too. And now today also, she's not just a guitarist, but of course she's bringing her experience around the world because we mentioned before, women who rock the world and around the world, as she's connecting from Thailand, and she's gonna tell us why she's there. Because I remember when I contacted you, Martina, you said like,
Yeah.
well, when we can do it because I have a flight. Was it the following day or something like that?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Couple of days before.
And
Yeah.
um, and so she's on a one-way ticket, correct?
Yes, correct.
And so, okay, why are you in Thailand? What's going on in your life?
Well, sometimes I ask myself the same question, but the point is, let's say, long story short, is that back in 2000, spring 2024, my company laid off a whole department, which was my department. Uh, Bummer. And so at that point, my partner had closed his company as well. So we found ourselves pretty job free. While I knew that I would be laid off in November 2024, so I had like 6 months to decide what to do with my life. And I must say that the idea came from him, and he asked me, why don't we go and travel for a little bit, since I mean, I've never ever had a gap year or something like that. I never had more than 2 weeks vacation in my life, and I was always thinking about, studying, working, band, music, but I never had a time when I could say, okay, let's go somewhere and don't come back, or don't know exactly when I'm coming back. So I said, okay, just I asked them to wait till November because I wanted to, finish and close everything I had to do and do this last 6 months with my colleagues and everything. And then we obviously wanted to enjoy the Christmas festivities with our families. And so we booked a one-way ticket to Thailand on the 7th of January. We took off from Milan, and now I'm basically at the sea. I'm in a small village in Thailand called Kanom. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, so sorry, Thai friends. And we've been to Bangkok. We went to the most touristic places in Thailand, like Bangkok. We went to Chiang Mai. We went to Chiang Rai. We went to Sukhothai, and then we flew to the sea. And at this point, we're staying here, and we still don't know exactly where we're gonna go. But we have in mind, we have Cambodia, because we would love to see Angkor Wat, which is a magical place that I've never been to. And also, the Sri Lanka is in our sight, but still we are still deciding and when it's the best time to go there, since I must say that everything here costs a lot less than everything back in Europe. So it's something that easily can be easily affordable for a couple. And so I'm very happy about it, also because I never spent too much money. So I just have some that I can use for this experience, then that makes me very happy. And so I'm here, I'm enjoying this place. I love the Thai culture. People are very, very nice, For example, today we stopped for 5 minutes. We had a motorbike, and because my partner wasn't feeling very well, so he had to stop for 5 minutes, and we were drinking water, and in 5 minutes 2 people stopped by to ask if everything was okay, if we needed fuel, if we had any
Yeah.
problem, and then we say no. And even if they couldn't speak a word of English, we just had to communicate like, yes, everything is okay, yes, everything is okay. And that really tells a lot about this culture.
Yeah, amazing. So and is there a reason why you picked Thailand?
Yes, I've always wanted to go, because many friends of mine a lot about it, and something I wanted to do. Also, I had this image of the elephant sanctuaries where I really wanted to go, but and I went there just for a day, but then I realized that there are so many beautiful things in here, and from the very chaotic part of Bangkok to the very, I would say, religious, or anyway, he has a different vibes of Chiang Mai, more calm, very crowded as well, but calm and quiet in a certain way. So everything is different, and everything is very, very beautiful. And also the food. The food is, oh, it's amazing. I love it. Except for the spiciness, which is insane
Mhm.
here. And so you really have to check what you're eating before you eat it, because otherwise you're gonna have a very bad time when you go to the bathroom. Safe to say.
Yeah, so it's amazing what you said. Like you and your partner both had like a time where you could do it, and take off. Because a lot of people, I know a lot of people that want to do it, but even if like they lose their job or different circumstances, they don't do it. Um, and was it a tough decision to make? Like, how long did you guys thought about it? You know?
Yeah, it was hard for me because I don't know. Um, I was born in a little town in Lake Como, and I've always lived there till I was 20. No, maybe till I was 30, 29, 30 years old. So I've always been there, and it's crazy because I've never lived abroad. And on the contrary, my partner was born in Brazil, and he traveled all his life. First, when he was a child, because his father was a traveling businessman, so he took his family with him. So they traveled, Brazil, Germany, Sweden. He went to Japan and went to England, a lot of places. So it's like two different. We are very different people in that regard. And he was asking me to go abroad years after I was laid off. So it was a constant request from his side. And I was like, no, because I love my job, I love my family, I love my friends, I love everything about the place where I've grown up. And so I was telling, no, I don't feel like it. And at a certain point, when when I knew that I would have lost my job, he told me, what about now? And so I said, well,
No
yeah,
excuses.
maybe now is the time. Yeah, no excuses. Also because we don't have a mortgage, we don't have children, we don't have animals. We just have a lot of plants, and but we managed to give them safely to everyone, so they're safe at home. And so I said, yeah, maybe it's the time. Also because it's crazy. I had this thought that I am a person that sometimes needs adventures but doesn't have that.
Mm.
And he is a person that he's a person that has a lot of courage to do that, but at the same time, he in my opinion he needed someone to be with him because he needed support on emotional level. I needed support on a courage matter. So I think everything it's really well connected on that regard. And so we're giving each other a lot of support in this experience. And I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy about it also because I honestly, I don't know if I'm coming back on a more, you know, stable basis, or if I'm finding a job abroad. I don't know. It's this kind
Maybe
of
a remote, maybe a
freedom.
remote job, something
Yeah, it would be,
remotely.
yeah. We also talked about, being digital nomads, but at the same time, I'm not very sure, because I actually would like to have a band. I would like to play again. So if you're traveling too much, it can become a bit difficult, also because I'm afraid about shipping my guitar on planes. I have this terror that they somehow break it, and
So is your guitar with you now?
probably, unfortunately, because we are traveling quite light, and for my guitar is a safety, and then at the same time I couldn't choose one of my guitars because I love them all. And yes, I was quite terrified, also because the first part of our trip is very fast. Like, we stayed like 4 days in Bangkok, then we went 1 week to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, so it was very hectic, and it would have been quite difficult to bring my guitar with me. But in these days I'm missing them a lot. So I also went and looked for a guitar shop in here,
Yeah,
and
you
I
can
said,
go there
maybe they can rent it. So
and just play a little bit.
yes, I can go there, play a bit. Yeah. Make a video so I can upload it. And like, I'm not dead. I'm still playing when I can.
Yeah. And
But
so
it's
you
difficult.
guys have like, did you say like you want to go and be away for like a year or 6 months, or did you set it like a time frame, or is it completely spur of the moment?
Yeah, I think that 6 months could be a good point, and then after maybe 5 6 months to decide where and what I'm gonna do. We are gonna do. So yeah, I think 6 months is a good time frame to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would think it's one of those experiences that like bonds like as a couple, two partners even more, because you're like staying together like basically all the time,
Yeah.
but also like traveling, being in
Yes.
a foreign country. Um,
Yeah. Sometimes
how,
it
how
can
long have you
be,
guys been together?
3 years. So yeah, the relationship is quite stable. But yes, it's 24/7 together. So I think it's important sometimes to cut some me time for the both of us, because you sometimes you have to chill out in your own space, and I think we're quite good at it. But also we are very, we stay together a lot during the time, and we did that also before. So it's not that crazy, right? And we have a lot of fun too. But at the same time, the good thing is that we have a great communication. I mean, if um, if I sometimes have to be alone, I just tell him, okay, and I just need to be 1 hour alone. I'm going to have a walk. There's absolutely no problem. And also we have a lot of keywords, like to like, oh, I'm stressed, I cannot connect properly. I have a keywords to say that, so I cannot, I shouldn't explain everything, and he understands. So that's good at our couple, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah, no, not so many words, and just straight to the point, and
Exactly.
and just say like, hey, you know what? I just need some me time, or I'm stressed. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's good advice,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes, yeah, at the same time, it's good to read the signals. I mean, I think that if you are together with a person for a long time, or anyway, you can understand every single eye movement, mouth movement, and you immediately understand, and you do, you know how to act. And that's also an important thing. I mean, I get, maybe I can see you're stressed. Maybe I don't know why, but I can see you're stressed, and then I know what you need to be to feel relieved of that stress. Maybe I'm not like a magician like you, and everything is, it's fine, but it's good to read the signals and to act.
Yeah,
In
absolutely. Absolutely.
certain
Makes
way.
complete sense, especially on,
Yeah.
on a trip like this. And so coming back to your guitar, to your instrument, what, I mean, I mentioned you started a band. Is the band active anymore? Killing Baudelaire, are they still
No,
active?
no, it's not. We during the years we changed the lineup many times. Originally, the founding members were certain. We were actually five founding members. Then we became four, and then we changed a lot of singers. The drummer became the singer and everything. And then the band basically changed the lineup again and decided to change name. And at that point, we were only uh, three. We were only three, and we changed name. But before anything went out, we found another singer. We changed name, and then after a couple of months, I decided to call it quit on my part. And then now the band is has had other lineup
Oh,
changings,
yeah.
and then they are going their own way, and the name is Hand of Juno, and they're playing. But I practically had no part in it. I didn't record anything, so everything that they're doing now is only made by them.
Yeah. What do you think are the best qualities in a musician, a part of technique and talent, but human qualities, to be in a band, to work in a project? Like, what do you think makes or breaks an artist?
Yeah, I've always thought that human skills and I mean the human part is so very important in every project you have. So not only playing, but also in your work, in everything you do. So I think soft skills are most important things, and I think one quality is to always, but the opinion of others is equally important. So never try to impose your will and your opinion. Just for me, it's very important to listen to everybody and to find a way to balance things, to an agreement whenever there's a discussion. I think this is the most important thing. Then to be open, that's quite the same thing, but I mean to be open to everyone else and try to understand why other people are saying something different. This is, in my opinion, the top quality a musician must have. And then it's difficult to say, but I think it's important to be humble, but at the same time not to be I mean humble, but you have to fight for
Yeah,
yourself.
knowing your value.
Know your value. Thank you. Yes, yes. And sometimes I I I have problem with my values. I mean, always underestimate me, and that's something that people should work on, because um I've never said. I mean, I think that being too conscious of our proper value makes us arrogant, and sometimes the fear of being arrogant makes you smaller and smaller and smaller every day, every time, till you don't say anything, and you let other people take over for you. And so it's important to find a balance in it. And
I would probably
I
say, oh, sorry, cut you off.
no, sorry, you go on.
No, I would probably say that if a person, a musician, but a person in general, asks themselves, um, am I too arrogant? It means that they're not, because an arrogant person would never ask
Never.
themselves if they are. It's like
Yeah.
a narcissist is never going to say, like, am I a narcissist? Probably if you ask yourself, then you're not. Okay.
That's a good point. But at the same time, if I like an artist, even if that artist is a bit arrogant or out of the line, I'm going to like it anyway, even if maybe I can disagree with some opinions, or you know. But in my regards, that's a terror of mine. Like, oh my God, I don't, because I really fear other people's judgment. That's a horror for me. So sometimes you need to feel a little bit more confident, but in the same, maybe in a good way.
Yeah. Do you feel, because you talked about, like being in a band and decisions, listening to other people's opinion. Um, Something that I asked myself when I was in a band myself, do you believe in democracy inside of a band, or would it work better as an oligarchy? Just one or two people, well, two people, because otherwise it's a dictatorship, but one or two people in the band that decide more for the band instead of like a full democracy where everyone has their say.
I think it depends. Ideally, I would prefer to play in a band where there's democracy, but it can happen that some bands they have not an equal share of responsibilities. I mean, in some bands there are people that have more responsibility, have more contacts with the other people, they have more skills, like social media managing, being a graphic artist, and it all depends on the single people inside the band. But the most important thing is that everything is agreed, because if you are in a band and there are four members, okay, and two members are more active, they write the lyrics, they write the music, they have all the contacts with the PR and everything, they manage social media, and the other two, maybe they just play, and maybe they're okay with it, and they say, okay, you do what you have to do, and I bring my talent, I bring my presence and my image, everything, and you do the rest. So I think it's to agree everything before, but ideally, in my opinion, I would like to play in a band where everybody does something, and everybody gets something. But it's up to people. When I'm in a band, I used to be, I have a problem with I don't know how to say that. I'm a control freak, so I need everything to be under control, and so sometimes I tend to say, I'm gonna do everything, but not because I want to do everything, but just because doing everything makes me feel like I am in control. But that's something that maybe people should work on. Maybe I should work
Yeah,
on.
well, that's of
And
course, each one of us, we all have something to work on, and that's the beauty, of the fact that we can always change something if we want it. So in this case, if you don't feel good with what you're doing, like with the control freak part of you, I would say, like, sure, just work on it. Otherwise, if you feel good like that, then don't. I don't think there's a right or
yeah,
wrong. there are some certain things that are really wrong, but not something like this, I would say.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
sometimes it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, I'm just saying that sometimes you do what you feel that you have to do, and you feel completely okay with it, but then you feel very stressed about it, and you can even understand that. So yes, I agree with you, but sometimes it's so difficult to understand what makes you feel really good inside, and what's really, intoxicating you. Sometimes it's so difficult to yeah, in a very perfect world, we should be and what's good for us and what's not, but that's difficult. That's difficult.
I saw you're talking about, success and the perception of it. Bands and artists these days, if you're not on social media, they're like, okay, you don't exist. I saw, of course, your social media, and because I work on social media with artists as well too, um, of course yours gathered my attention, and of course it's not just about the number of followers, because that's the numbers. Of course it's great, to have big numbers, but at the same time, it's did you have a strategy when you started going on social media, or how did that happen? How did you get, was it something planned, or not?
Well, I must say that I started posting on Instagram quite some years ago. And at that time, I really didn't care about anything. I didn't care about. I opened an Instagram account because I wanted to follow other people. Like I wanted to, because Instagram was this very new thing where you could go and everyone was at the same level. It wasn't like Facebook, that where you have a personal profile and then you have a page, an
Mhm.
artist page, which is different. You cannot communicate with a page. But in Instagram, it's everyone is the same, quite the same, and then it makes you feel like you're more in contact with the people you like, the people you love. So but at the time I just went there because I wanted to follow, famous people, not even in the music business, like famous people in Italy. And that's and don't say about don't I don't want to speak about that. But anyway, the certain point when I was with the band, there was a very golden era in Instagram. So I would say before it, like before TikTok, and like from 2016 2020, where Instagram was, on the mouth of everyone. And at that point, I started to understand that it was a powerful, that could make you a little bit more famous, if you want to put it like that. And at that time, pictures were very. Um, I mean, you could get a lot of likes only with one picture, because there was the pictures were everything, and so at that time I had a bit of strategy, like using the trying to get to know which hashtags were the best, to I mean how to do a frame, a picture in a way that it was more likable. And so I went on and on, and in that period I gained quite a bit follower. And but then after the COVID, I realized that um, things have changed. I mean, a lot of videos and coming from TikTok and from other things, so pictures were like, you know uh, less liked, and everyone was going crazy for videos. And actually for me, filming videos was more difficult, not during the COVID era, because I was at home. I was working from home, and I was working 50% of the day, 50%. So I had a lot of time for me and to record videos, and then that was a good thing. But then after COVID, I had this job. I was working 40 hours per week, so I didn't have many times to do that. Um, so I started posting less and less and less. And then when I split with the other girls in the band, I it was quite a difficult time because I didn't have I felt like I didn't have purpose in the
Mhm.
music area, in the music and that was quite a difficult time for a month. For months I couldn't even take my guitar and play it, and it was quite bad. And then I started again to play every now and then and to publish videos, but it was not the same time as before. And that's quite, that's quite sad, and it put me in a very bad mood. And then and then I there was a switch in my head, and I realized that uh, that's really powerful message. And I realized that up till my 30s, I've always identified myself as the guitarist. Like I grew up in a very small town, and I was the metalhead. I was the female player of guitar, so that was something strange, and that was my shield to shield my insecurities. So I till up to my guitarist, the female guitarist, sorry. And that was so bad because I asked myself, what am I besides being a guitar player, and who am I when I don't have a band and and that was crazy. I mean, I'm still figuring it out, but maybe this time taking the time for myself and going out from my comfort zone will help me a lot, trying to understand that. And sometimes I feel like I have to justify myself with other people, like, okay, I'm sorry that I'm not posting so much. I feel like I'm betraying you, you know a lot of people, I mean, some people are following me, and I feel like I owe you videos, I owe you pictures, I owe you my perfect image of a guitar player, a female guitar player. But I'm not that precise person anymore, so I'm fighting with all this mess and trying to understand what's good and what I should do.
Yeah, what you said resonates with me, but I'm sure it resonates with a lot of people, not just on social media, of the image that we give ourselves, that we feel that people want from us, you know,
Yes.
and knowing, because we all live in a society where someone is the mom, sister, guitar player, entrepreneur. We have
Yeah.
to label people.
Yeah.
Fine, we have to do it, but at the same time, it's just amazing when we feel that we are ourselves. And sometimes we're so trapped in our in the
So
in the definition that we gave ourselves and others gave of us, that
yeah.
we almost lose sight of who we are.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
amazing what you just said. And I truly believe that your trip, what you're doing right now, is going to help you a lot getting rid of,
Yes.
you know, all the labels. And I'm sure you're going to always going to be a guitarist. You're always going to be a partner. You're always going to be, but in the end, who's Martina? And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it's not for me to say, it's not for other people to say, it's for you to say when you get rid of the labels, and when you just let it
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's frightening. It's
It
frightening
is.
because if you don't have a label, it's like you're no one, you know.
Yeah.
And also, you
But
are what you do in our
yes,
society. You're not what you are. You're what you do. What your contribute is. You cannot be just yourself. Like, uh, Like it happened to me that whenever I posted a non music related picture on Instagram, I lost many followers after after this post. And then I thought maybe it's better if I lose those followers because I don't want to have them, because if they are only there for, picture with the guitar, sexy pictures with the guitar, it's okay. You can have a lot of sexy pictures with the guitar from many 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 people, so it's cool, and I'm happy for the ones that staying there.
Yeah, yeah, and at the same time, it's we're allowed to be different things at the same time. We can be, especially as women. It's one of the reasons why I opened this podcast about women. And hearing different stories, because women are labeled even more than men. Whether
Oh,
they're a good
yes,
mother, a good wife, a good girlfriend. There's all these stereotypes. Men have their
yes,
stereotypes as well too, but and have so many things, that we need to keep in place, because if you do this, you're not a good person. If you do that, oh, you're slutty. If you do something else, oh no, you need to be sexy, but not too sexy, because then you're slutty.
yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, when did it all become so difficult to where we as women have to be extra careful about everything that we do? Because that's also why we're more insecure, you know,
Oh,
and we can
yes.
become more and feel safer with ourselves.
Yes.
Again, when we start getting rid of all the labels and trying to meet everyone else's expectations of us.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't want to be trite with this, but I think that women have so much power. They don't even know they have it. Okay. But the problem is that many women tends to fight each other. And I think this is something, I mean, ancestral with our, with our DNA. And that's why men are more powerful than women at the moment, because they really don't fight themselves as men. Maybe they fight for, you know, say not important things or important things, but I mean, I've played with women. I had two bands with all female bands, and it's so easy to fight with a woman. I don't know why, because I really like women. I'm well with women, and but if we learned not to fight each other, to support each other, because it's not easy to find a woman that supports another woman. And that's why I mean, kudos to your podcast. I'm very happy to be part of it, because whenever I see a woman supporting another woman, whenever a woman tells me I'm beautiful, I think that that comment is 10 times better than a comment from a man, because she really thinks it. Maybe the men think it, but has a,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
different
Another agenda.
goal about that. But and yeah, I think I would, I mean, I really love supporting women, and I really love women. But at the same time, there are a lot of women that don't support each other, and that's the real bummer, in
Yes,
my
things
opinion.
are, even in the music industry, things are changing, luckily. But yeah, of course, it's, but we're all here as part of a solution, myself, you, other women. We're part of a solution of collaborating among women, doing things and lifting each other up for a purpose that it's not even our own. Of course, I
Yeah,
love doing this podcast, but I'm doing it because I like it. So I'm doing it for myself, but I'm doing it as a message to other people, because I want other women to find this and say and listen to it. And when they listen to it, they say, like, you know what, this really helped me, because that happened to me as well, by listening to different podcasts, reading books, you know that really shaped me and changed my life, I believe, for the better, and made me like more aware of what was going on, and the contribution that I give to this world, not because of a label, and because I had to do something, but because, like, hey, you know what, this makes me feel good, so I believe it's going to make other people feel good too.
And sometimes it's just about energies. I really believe in energies. I don't believe in God, but I believe in energies.
You're in the
And
right
I think
place.
energy.
Thailand is a lot about energy. I think I've been to Thailand many times, and
Yes.
the energy there is really powerful.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. And I will tell you this about Thailand. We were in Chiang Rai, and we were visiting. I don't know if you know, but the two main temples in Chiang Rai, they were built like 10 years ago, so they're not old. You're Italian to Gardaland. They were specifically made for tourism. That's quite a bit sad. And then we were there, and we were taking pictures, and then an American guy arrived. He was very rude, and asked us, "Are you done yet?" And he was so rude that we could even um, say something to him, like, okay, and and he put us in a very, very bad mood. And then we took a Grab, which is the taxi used in Asia, like Uber, like it's a Uber. And we were there, and there was this very nice and young guy, and he immediately got that we were in a bad mood, that something happened, even if he couldn't understand anything of our language, of course. And then he started asking us in English, "How are you? How was your day? What have something like that?" But very genuinely, he didn't want to bother. He didn't want to sell anything. Just wanted to, he got that the energy was bad, and he instantly changed that energy. And then when we got out of the taxi, we we saw that on the roof of the taxi there were some writings in Thai, in Thai, I think. And we asked him what were there, and he told us that a monk, the orange dressed monks, the Buddhist monks, he had written it on the roof of the taxi for him, like a benediction. And then we understood, the whole picture. And that's why I say that energies are very powerful everywhere. But I noticed a lot of good energies here, but I'm feeling very good energies also in this moment, talking with you about these things. And I'm so happy that we went into I went deeper into things, because that's what I like to do in this time of my life. So thank you very much for
You're welcome, and that's why
these
I like to keep
energies.
this. Yeah, thank you. Because we're making this. That's why I like to keep these interviews spontaneous. Because it's about opening up and exchanging ideas, and it's a chat. It's a talk,
Yeah.
and then see you where it goes. There's nothing planned really about this interviews, other than me studying. Who I'm interviewing, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's I found that it gets more humane and more
Yeah.
goes in depth this way. Just opening
Yeah.
up and having a chat, like we're with a cup of tea or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Also,
thanks so much
I
for
was
opening up.
no, yeah. Thank you for the nice questions. And I was talking with my partner, and he asked me, "But didn't you see the list of the questions?" And I said, "No, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I prefer to go, more spontaneously, like you said." Yes, that's definitely better. Also because, if you have a list of questions, like, oh my God, I need to prepare.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
certain people want that, some other people don't. What I do, and that's what worked so far with me, is keep it spontaneous, other than the stuff what I mentioned at the beginning. Like, if there's stuff that you don't want to talk about, then
Yes.
it's something I respect, but it's out of respect for the person that I'm interviewing. It's not because I wanted to conceal something from people, from the audience. It's just out of respect. Because maybe there's some
Yeah.
topics that are better left alone, maybe for that moment, and then we can have our
Yeah.
interview
Yeah.
maybe
Actually,
later.
I don't like, yeah, I don't like to say, no, I don't want to talk about this thing, because in a certain way, I like the difficulty sometimes of the questions. I like to find myself in a moment when I say, okay, what I'm gonna say. And I like the embarrassment, the difficulty. I like it. I'm crazy probably, but yeah.
Makes sense. But it makes sense with what you said, being in that moment in life where you feel you're evolving, probably, and you just we're all evolving, in different ways, and it's part of us as human beings. I believe so firmly. We're never meant to say the same, because otherwise it's some things have to change,
Yeah.
you know but thanks so much.
Yeah, yeah. I
Thanks,
agree
really.
100% with you.
Yeah, but thanks so much for this interview. Thanks for being so open. And yeah, and I look for,
Thank
maybe
you.
we can, talk again, I don't know, in 6 months or so, and you can tell me more about your adventures.
Yes, I would be very, very interested in that. So maybe I can talk in Thailand by that time, but no, 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 I'm not. It's
Maybe.
too difficult.
Who knows? But
Who
yeah,
knows?
thanks again. Bye.
Thank you.